Method section, where as long as your study doesn't go viral, no one's really gonna care if you fudge a few details. Now, I'm not saying you should fudge a few details. I'm just saying method section is a section people skip along with pretty much everything except the abstract. Anyway, a method section is made up of participants, materials, design, and procedure. Let's get into it. Participants, in this section, give me a good overview of who makes up this experiment or correlational sample. How old are they? Give me a range like 18 to 26, and then a mean like 21.7 years old. Next, how many people participated? Was it like 12 or like 2,041. Okay, next, how do you find these people? How did you find these people? Where did they come from? Are they from like a database? Did you pay for participants? Where did these people come from? And then finally, tell me their demographics, right? The demographics of your sample. Is it like, tell me their genders or non-binary, like white or whatever race, affluent or working class. And you're thinking, aren't we all human? These things, these small differences between us, they don't matter, but they do. One, ethics. I did a whole lecture about it. You should definitely check that one out. But two, generalizability, right? So maybe your findings that short shorts and a really large shirt is an acceptable thing to wear to a party is largely skewed by your sample of white, affluent, female participants. And maybe Oladi Meji, young, strapping Oladi Meji is probably not gonna fit in that particular attire. And so that's just not generalizable to him or anybody. Just don't. Materials. This is where you mention everything you use to make the study happen. So that's any scripts, any assessments, any measures, any stimuli, right? So if you used a survey, that gets mentioned here. If you used some kind of software, that gets mentioned here. So you're thinking, so like the actual survey, like it's like 100 questions. Do I just like drop it down in the method section? No, you actually include the actual survey in the appendix where no one's going to read it. And when I say no one, I literally mean no one, because your participants aren't gonna read that either, because it's a 100-question survey. They're not gonna finish that whole thing. Like, you would have to pay me a sexy amount of money to do a 100-question survey for you. And well, I'm kind of broke, so maybe we could talk about it later. Anyway, so if you're writing in this section, you're gonna say something like, so I used the am I broke enough to fill out a long survey out of Bailey 2022. That would be in parentheses because it's a citation, because you're gonna need those for this section. All right, so am I broke enough to fill out a long survey? And then I would say something along the lines of, this is a 10-question survey. It's ask questions on a 5-point Likert scale, ranging from if you don't have money, you can't do that, to why would I worry about this? I have a trust fund. And it asks questions like, how big of a deal is it when the stock market declines temporarily, right? And then that's how you would do that. And then you would move on to the next measure or next software or whatever you're using. That's how you'd write that section. Okay, design. So here you explain the type of experiment, and this is the place where you talk about your variables. Recap: the independent variable is the thing that you are manipulating. The dependent variable is the thing that you think will change because of your manipulation to the independent variable. The control variable is the group that you will let die before you intervene. Also, it's probably not that serious, but sometimes it is. Again, there's a whole ethics lecture that you should probably look at. Now, with IRBs, the control variable is often replaced with a treatment as usual option. And that way, you're not just leaving someone with no treatment, you're just giving them a treatment as usual or an established treatment and seeing if your treatment works better. This is important. It's also important to differentiate in your design whether you're completing a within subjects design or a between subjects design. Okay. All right. So a within subjects design, this is when every participant receives every level of the manipulation. So each participant is their own control group. So when you're doing a design that has a pre-test and then a manipulation and a post-test, those are often within subject designs. one of the pros of within subject design is it limits, confounding variables or extraneous variables that could explain things. However, one of the major drawbacks is that the manipulation will likely be influenced by practice, meaning that that participant has seen that assessment before or done a measure like it, and now they're better at it, right? So then we have between subject design, and these are different, right? So in this one, different samples complete the different manipulations, right? So your control group is made up of different people than your group that you're manipulating. These kind of studies require more participants and are open to confounding variables. For example, let's say you're giving an IQ test, and the problem is, what if one group is just smarter than the other group, or like one group is stupid and the other group is like, not stupid? And sorry, that's one group's not smart, one group is dumb, stupider. I don't know what group, but anyway, this is the risk that you take, right? But there's no real risk of them practicing because they're only doing one of the manipulations. Also, attrition is lower, right? So if you only have to do one thing, it's more likely that you're gonna do that one thing and leave, whereas if you're within subject group, then you might do that one thing and then they ask you to come back and do it, and you got stuff to do that day, so you don't, and then you're out a whole participant in your study. So finally, procedure. This is where you give details about what your participants actually did. What were your conditions and how did you assign your participants to each? How did you collect data and what did you tell your participants? Give us all the info in chronological order. This is like a recipe, right? So if you do this right, if I am following your procedure, then at the end of the study, I should have baked the same experiment that you did. And if I didn't, then one, you either told me to leave it in too long, you gave me wrong ingredients, you told me to take it out too fast, or your results aren't as reliable as you had hoped. Okay, example time. Here's an example. Participants in this study included adults from the southwest region of the United States. They were paid in pancakes and orange juice and recruited by physically posted or electronically distributed marketing flyers that describe the study and compensation. Now, if I'm doing a between subjects design, I'd say the sample included 435 participants ranging in ages from 18 to 50. The average was 36.4 years old. Participants were predominantly Caucasian, 56%. 18% were African American, 16% were Latinx American, 11% were Asian American, 1% were Native American or Pacific Islander, and the other 1% identified as other. 50% identified as female, 48% identified as male, 1% identified as non-binary, and 1% identified as other or declined to answer. For a between subject study, I'd say participants were randomly assigned one of three conditions: a control condition, N 142, a complement condition, N of 146, or an insecurity condition, an N of 147. For within subject design, I'd say participants, N of 34, remember you need fewer participants for within subject design, were assigned randomly to which order of the three conditions they would begin first. Materials. The study uses 3 stages with a microphone and sound system. The materials additionally include a script to read the participants in the different conditions. The study also utilizes a decibel reader, or a measure of how loud something is, and a voice coach to determine level of embellishment. Now, the design is either between subject or within subject, and we're, in our procedure, going to talk about both. So, for a between subjects design, participants were divided into conditions using a random number generator. Participants in the control condition were invited in and were read a script found in Appendix E, asking them to grab and adjust the mic and then sing either Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, Baa Baa Black Sheep, or their ABCs, whichever they knew confidently. Now, once the participant touches the microphone in the control condition, the researcher does nothing.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H.
In the second condition, the participant is read the same script, given their choice of song, but when they touch the mic, they're told they have something hanging from their nose and handed a tissue. If they follow up,
Did I get it?
the researcher says, I think so.
Oh, okay. Baa Baa Black Sheep, have you any wool? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. In the third condition, the participant is read the same script, given their choice of song, but when they touch the microphone, they're told, oh, hey, actually, right before you start, can I just tell you, that shirt looks amazing on you. Yeah, go ahead.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are up above the clouds. So, in A, within subject's design, every participant has to go through all three manipulations. In the first manipulation, the participant is told to adjust the mic and sing.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are, up above the world so high. Yes.
In the second condition, the participant is read the same script, given their choice of song, but when they touch the mic, they're told they have something hanging from their nose and handed a tissue. If they follow up,
Did I get it?
the researcher says, I think so.
Oh, okay. Baba, black sheep, have you any wool? Yes, sir. Yeah.
In the third manipulation, the participant is told, as he grabs the mic, oh hey, I really love that shirt on you. Iron Man's my favorite superhero.
Oh, thanks. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Up above the world so high, 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 like a diamond in the sky. Oh, twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. How I wonder what you are. Take me to the fore.
Thank you so much.
Bonus song.
No,
Near,
okay, thank you.
far,
Thank you.
wherever you are.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so to wrap up your method section, what you're going to do is you're going to end the paper with, how do you plan to analyze this? So you'd say something like, this data will be analyzed using this particular software, or how you're going to do it. So like for the study you just saw, it would be analyzed using a decibel meter and by expert people who will tell you about the level of embellishment. Yeah, that's it. And then you could probably guess the hypothesis. So I won't tell you? All right, that's generally it.